What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of AC Reviews the World. I am your host, AC the Engineer, and we are at episode. What episode? We are at episode 54. 54. Let's give it a round of applause. Yep. We're at episode 54 now. Moving straight along. Hope everybody had a good weekend. It is at the start of our week, Tuesday, October 14th, and it's 6 a.m. in the morning. Like my mama used to always say that the early bird catches the worm. Hopefully everybody's getting ready for work. If you ain't got to work today, hey, enjoy your day off. But we got a lot of things to talk about today. We got a lot of things to discuss, a lot of things to go over. As you know, as most people know, the hostages were released. We're going to go into a few things of that. Hostages on both sides. So the people who were in prison. And then we got the hostages that were held by Hamas. So we're going to go over that. We got some mass shootings, both in South Carolina and Mississippi. And then we just got a lot of wild, crazy things to talk about. The world is never going to stop being crazy. So that's why we always got more stuff to talk about every single day, every time we meet. But y'all remember to hit that like button, subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can be up to date on anything that I'm dropping. Like always, if you ever disagree with me, please let me know. Let's have a discussion about it in the comments. And if you ever see anything that you want me to review, please send it over to my email. It's acreviewstheworld@gmail.com, a dot after the A and a dot after the C. A dot after the A and a dot after the C. But you know how I like to do it. Let's get right to it. The first thing we're going to talk about today, we got to get into it. We got to talk about the hostages have been released. So all the hostages have been released. We got 2 videos to look at. And then we got an article to look at, I believe by BBC. So let's get right into it. Let's just jump into it. Let's see what it's talking about.
This morning, the world witnessing extraordinary scenes in Israel. The first images of those 20 Israeli hostages turned over as family members cried and crowds by the tens of thousands erupted in applause. And there were cheers for President Trump touching down today in Israel to announce to the world the hostages have been released and continue his push for a path towards peace. The homecoming and the reunions of families torn apart for more than 2 years, the first stage of the U.S. brokered peace deal. President Trump meeting with them and marking this historic moment by writing in a book at the Israeli parliament, "This is my great honor, a great and beautiful day, a new beginning." As the hostages return home, there are more stages to come in the process. 2,000 Palestinian prisoners set to be freed. And humanitarian aid starting to flow into Gaza, where the devastation of the war is unmistakable. Back in Tel Aviv, relief for the...
Now, no matter what side you're on, I think is that we should be happy that that there is a ceasefire, and that the war seems to be coming to an end. Now, I don't know if it'll last long, but I would like to hope it would. That's what I'm thinking, either on both sides. On both sides, you should be happy about this. The main thing holding up was the prisoners being released and the hostages being released. So that's what was stopping a lot of the ceasefires and everything like that. At least that's my thinking. But if I'm saying something wrong, let me know. If you disagree, if you don't think this is going to last long, let me know. Well, let's keep going into this.
Hostages returning home, but many still in mourning for those lost, like John and Rachel Goldberg-Poland, whose son Hirsch was killed in captivity.
What are these families going through right now, the ones that are going to get both maybe their loved ones back, but also the remains of their loved ones?
It means a lot to be getting them back.
That's what we all have been fighting and hoping and praying over for 737 inexplicable, torturous days.
As for those 2,000 Palestinian prisoners and detainees, we understand that process has now started to release them. This was part of the phase one in exchange for those 20 living Israeli hostages, but there are still a lot of questions that are unanswered about phase two. What happens in Gaza? Who rules Gaza? And what happens to Hamas? Will they fully surrender? And if they don't, what happens next? But for now, Craig, this is a day of hope in Israel that so many have waited so long for.
A historic day indeed. Tom Yamas on the ground for us there in Tel Aviv. Tom, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget.
Yeah, so right now, like I said, there's a ceasefire happening. Some people don't believe that it's going to last long. Some people think it's just going to be, it's just not going to stop. Now, let me know your thoughts on that. Let's go over to this next video.
And we begin with breaking news on this Monday. Finally free. Israel and Hamas releasing hostages and prisoners today. 20 remaining alive Israeli hostages and nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners are officially home after a relentless 2 years of war. Good afternoon. It is a crucial step in the Gaza ceasefire agreement.
And today, President Trump received a momentous welcome for brokering this deal. ABC's Christian Cordero reports now the challenging work of rebuilding Gaza, along with maintaining the peace, begins.
Rob, Judy, this peace summit today included 34 leaders from 4 continents celebrating this crucial agreement and each vowing to help ensure it lasts. In Egypt today, with the world as witness, a symbolic signature and a vow to bring peace to the Middle East.
Together we've achieved what everybody said was impossible. At long last, we have peace in the Middle East, and it's a very simple expression, peace in the Middle East.
The first crucial step of a greater peace plan was put into action today, with Hamas releasing the 20 remaining living Israeli hostages and some of the bodies of the deceased hostages for nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners. President Trump insists the exchange has moved all parties onto phase 2, even though Hamas has not released all the bodies.
Phase 2 has started, and you know, the phases are all a little bit mixed in with each other. We're going to start cleaning up. You look at Gaza, and it needs a lot of cleanup.
Not everyone in Israel agrees the deal is being upheld. The Hostage Families Forum is calling for an immediate halt to the agreement as Israel's defense minister accuses Hamas of violating the ceasefire by failing to return all 28 deceased hostages. Even so, the fragility of the deal is met with long-awaited relief on both sides of the conflict. For the 20 remaining living hostages, reunion after joyous reunion. 738 days in the making. And the roads inbound to Gaza today swell with truckloads of desperately needed humanitarian aid, plus buses full of nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners, crowds huddled around their return home, or what's left of it. It's still unclear what phase 2 of this peace plan entails exactly. And when it comes to lasting peace, some of the challenges include figuring out the future of Hamas, who will govern the Palestinian people, and how Gaza will rebuild. In Washington, Christian Cordero, Rob and Judy, back to you in Chicago.
Christian, thank you. And while the last living hostages are finally home, others are still grieving loved ones lost. 23-year-old Hirsch Goldberg Poland of Chicago's north suburbs was one of the hundreds of people seized by militants at that music festival nearly 2 years ago. He and 5 others were murdered by Hamas. His grandmother says the family calls them the Beautiful Six.
I'm torn. I'm very sad that Hirsch isn't here, but thank God for the 20 or so families who can hug their relative and be joyful again.
And other hostages who are still in the midst of healing are Evanston mother and daughter Judith and Natalie Ranan. They were taken and then released by Hamas a few weeks after the October 7th attack.
But let's get over into this article that just brings a little more detail into it. A little more detail. Let's, we got to zoom in some so we can all see everything. All right. So it's been a monumentous day with scenes celebrating Israel's last surviving hostages returning home from Gaza after 2 years. Meanwhile, hundreds of Palestinian prisoners and detainees were released as part of the first phase of U.S. President Donald Trump's peace plan. In the hostage square, emotional crowds waved Israel and U.S. flags, and photos of the hostages as they watched their return. In what several described to BBC as a moment of national unity. There was anger and confusion later on when Hamas returned only 4 bodies, leaving 24 deceased hostages in Gaza. In Gaza and the occupied West Bank, there were tears and screams of joy as hundreds of Palestinian prisoners and detainees were freed. The release involved about 250 prisoners who had been convicted of crimes including murder and deadly attack against Israel's, and about 1,700 detainees from Gaza who have been held by Israel without charge. The U.S. Donald Trump hailed it as a tremendous day for the Middle East as he visited Israel following by a trip to Egypt, where regional leaders signed a document to cement his ceasefire deal. But questions linger about what happens next and whether or not the plans will lead to a path of lasting peace. Here in the hostage square, a clock keeps counting on the amount of days the hostages have been in Gaza, which many hope would switch it off today. It is still ticking. So as we know, like they said, right now it's a ceasefire, which I believe on both sides people should be happy with. The fighting should be stopped on both sides. No one else should be dying because of this war. But how long will it last? Some people are still emotional and clearly upset because they have not released 24 deceased hostages left that are still being held by Hamas. But we don't know what's in phase 2. I don't know if that's a part of phase 2, where the next phase was them releasing the last of the deceased hostages, or did they actually hold them back? But it sounds like all of the prisoners, 250 prisoners and 1,700 detainees have been released and returned back to Palestine. So let me know your thoughts, y'all. Let me know, do you think that this ceasefire will last long, or do you have no opinion on it? At the end of the day, I'm just happy some fighting is done. Hopefully it lasts long, but we just got to wait and see. But let me know your thoughts on that whole situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. It's a good day. It's a good day, but it still sounds like they still got more work to do. Like I said, let me know your thoughts on that whole situation. We're going to pivot. We're going to pivot now. Let's go over so we got to get into the mass shooting. So it seems like there was a South Carolina mass shooting at a bar. So we got to go over into that. We got a few videos to look at. I will never understand why people love to do these crazy things, or they have a desire to do something so foul and cause so much harm to people. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Let's jump into this and see what we can learn from this situation.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. We are following some breaking news that we did want to share with you. This is according to the Associated Press that 4 people have died, 20 others injured in a shooting at a bar on a South Carolina island. And I did want to share this live look with you from this particular area right here. This is a live look from South Carolina. According to the Associated Press, this is the very latest. A mass shooting at a crowded bar on a South Carolina island has left 4 people dead and at least 20 injured. That's according to officials. So this is on St. Helena Island right here. This occurred early Sunday at Willie's Bar and Grill. A large crowd was at the scene when sheriff's deputies arrived and found several people suffering from gunshot wounds. According to the sheriff's office, they said, quote, multiple victims and witnesses ran to the nearby businesses and properties seeking shelter from the gunshots. The statement continued saying, quote, this is a tragic and difficult incident for everyone. We ask for your patience as we continue to investigate this incident. Our thoughts are with all of the victims and their loved ones.
Absolutely crazy, y'all. The main thing that I always like to say is that we have to keep our head on a swivel. You have to keep your head on a swivel. No matter if you're just out at a bar, you got to be watching the door, you got something. But at the end of the day, it's tragic, but some things like this you can never be prepared for. Truly prepared for. I mean, you can carry your firearm, you can be the best prepared you can be, but you never know when some crazy SOB is just going to pop into a crowded bar and just start shooting at random. 4 people ended up killed and 20 people hurt. I wonder if anybody fired back. It's in South Carolina, so I know that they have a constitutional carry, basically. So I wonder if anybody fired back. But it might be a bar where they pat you down and they don't allow guns in there. Probably is, but absolutely tragic, y'all. Absolutely tragic. We got to pray for the people who lost their lives and the people who are injured. Let's get into it.
Again, 4 people were found dead at the scene and at least 20 other people were injured. Among the injured, 4 were in critical condition at area hospitals. So far, the victims' identities have not been released. And also, this is breaking news, so the information continuing to come in at this hour. There's no comment from the sheriff's office in terms of a suspect or suspects, whether this was a targeted shooting, whether this was apparently a random isolated incident. That has yet to be publicly shared right here. Also, we do not know whether anyone is in custody or under arrest. So
okay, so we got the gist of that first one. Let's keep going into this next one where we can get some more details.
A heartbroken owner and staff left picking up the pieces. 4 families in the Low Country are now planning funerals after what was supposed to be a fun night turned tragic after gunfire rang outside of Willie's Bar and Grill.
The owner, Willie Turl, was very emotional when telling me about last night's events. He says the bar was hosting Battery Creek High School's alumni weekend and everyone was having a good time. Then the shots rang out.
I heard the shots and it was scary from the inside, you know what I mean? Like you could just tell the rapid succession of shots, like it wasn't a standard weapon like it. You saw people giving CPR, you saw people picking people up, you saw people crying. People care. Like this community didn't do this, a person did this.
The gunfire rang out just before 1 a.m. Sunday. 4 people were killed and at least 20 are injured, according to the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office. I spoke with a member of the community who told me she's at the bar at least twice a week, enjoying what she says is a fun, laid-back environment at Willie's.
I would never have expected anything like that to take place here. You know, the vibe that's here is totally opposite of like, oh, I need to be watching my back, or oh, I need to keep my head on a swivel.
Jindia Blunt said Willie, the owner of the bar, isn't.
First of all, you need to keep your head on a swivel everywhere. I don't care if it's a good neighborhood. I don't care if it's a bad neighborhood. Keep your head on a swivel always. Always. But let's keep going and hear
just a business owner. He loves his community and is heavily involved in making the town a better place.
I think that this is most unfortunate because the very thing that he advocates against is what happened here last night. Thank God that I was not here. For some reason, I just decided not to come, but normally I'm here.
Hundreds of people were in the restaurant when the shooting itself happened. Multiple victims and witnesses ran to nearby businesses and property seeking shelter from the gunfire.
I had people that I would consider family that lost their lives last night, and I mean this is home for me. So everybody, it's tough.
Names of the victims have not yet been released at this point. The sheriff's office said they're investigating persons of interest. Meanwhile, the pain can be seen behind Willie's eyes.
There's nothing you can do to solve, somebody kid don't come home. That's rough. But we'll be here with you. We'll be here with you. That's all we can promise. We'll be here with you.
We have continued to reach out to the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office, who says there is no threat to the community. We haven't received any other updates at this point.
Absolutely tragic. At the end of the day, it's very tragic. Got to pray for the victims, pray for all their family. But let's get over into this last video, see if they tell us any more information.
Mississippi and in South Carolina, where at least 4 people were killed in a shooting at a bar. Here's ABC's Morgan Norwood with the details.
Gunfire erupted at around 1 a.m. Sunday morning at a bar in St. Helena, South Carolina.
En route to a possible active shooting situation, possible gunshot victims.
At least 4 people were pronounced dead at the scene and several others injured. Officials say hundreds of people were inside at the time of the shooting, the owner of the bar wiping away tears.
For everybody who walked away, you know, I'm thankful for everybody who's alive, who is safe. And you know, we just gotta come together and support each other.
That shooting part of a weekend of gun violence that included at least 2 mass shootings in Mississippi, one in Heidelberg during a high school homecoming game.
That first one actually occurring on
We'll get into that. That's the next thing we're gonna get into, but let's get over into this article that will give us a little bit more information. The most updated article I could find on this whole situation. So let's jump over into that. So the coroner identifies the 4 killed people in South Carolina bar. A mass shooting at a crowded bar on a South Carolina island left 4 people dead and 20 people injured. The shooting happened early Sunday at Willie's Bar and Grill. A large crowd at the scene when the sheriff deputies arrived found several people suffering from wounds. It was learned that hundreds of people were at the location when the shooting occurred. Multiple victims and witnesses ran to nearby businesses and properties. So the victims were identified Monday by Beaufort County Coroner's Office as 22-year-old Kershawn Glaze. If I'm saying the names wrong, please forgive me. From Beaufort, 33-year-old Sharday Smalls, 22-year-old Aztec Mildridge, and then 54-year-old Amos Gray. So you got ages ranging from 22 all the way up to 54. So sounds like to me shooting at random. At least that's my first thoughts, but we won't know until they actually catch the suspect. Among the injured, 4 were critical condition taken to near area hospitals. So we talked about the Willie. Let's see. The sheriff's office said it is still investigating persons of interest, but no arrests have been made at this point. And this is the most recent article I could find. This is a tragic and difficult incident for everyone. We ask for your patience as we continue to investigate the incidents. Our thoughts will go out to the victims. And they talk about completely heartbroken. U.S. Rep Nancy Mace of South Carolina posted on Twitter. So that is the most recent updates from the mass shooting that happened in South Carolina. It's a tragic scene. It's hard to believe, but it's our reality now. You have to keep, like that one lady said, it's not a place where you got to keep your head on the swivel. I disagree with that. No matter where you go, if you're in a good area or if you're in a bad area, you need to keep your head on a swivel. You need to be watching your surroundings. Be aware of your surroundings. It's a tragic thing. You have to do it, but it's what we got to do in this world. You have to try to prepare yourself for any kind of situation that could happen. Now, will you be prepared for everything? No, of course not. No one can be. But you can at least take steps to be proactive about it. Certain areas, you don't go to certain areas. If you can carry your firearm, do carry your firearm. You saw they had a sign out front that said no concealed weapons. So you legally wouldn't be able to carry your weapon in there. But it's a tragic scene. They most likely pat you down and go into the bar. But just keep your head on a swivel. Keep your head on a swivel. Absolutely tragic information. We will update. I will update everyone on when they actually make an arrest on a suspect, so we can see actually who this lowlife is, this SOB is, who would go into a bar and just shoot indiscriminately, killing 4 people and injuring 20. I always want to know what's going through their mind, or if they're just crazy. But let me know your thoughts on that whole situation, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. It's tragic. But as we heard in the last video, Mississippi also had a tragic shooting, 2 shooting scenes, one at a homecoming and one somewhere else. So we're going to get into that. We got 2 videos to look at, and then 3 videos to look at, and then we got to go into an article. But like I said, let's get into it. We got to look at the Mississippi. Oh, wrong thing. Mississippi school homecoming shooting. So that's the main one that we're going to be looking at right now. I can never understand why somebody would go and shoot up a school event. There's some sick individuals in this world. But let's get into it.
Well, new tonight at 6, authorities say 6 people are dead and many more are injured after 2 shootings in Mississippi. A Mississippi state senator says the first shooting happened last night in downtown Leland after a high school football game that was a homecoming game. He says 4 people were killed and about 20 people were hurt in gunfire. But across the state in Heidelberg, Mississippi, police say 2 people were killed during that community's homecoming weekend as well. Police say they were killed on the school's campus last night, but officials have not said if they were students or not. Both shootings are still under investigation.
So you mean to tell me shootings at 2 homecoming games or around 2 high school homecomings? Sick people in this world, y'all. Sick people in this world. Let's get over into this next video that gives us a little bit more detail.
Chaos as deadly violence unfolded in tiny Leland, Mississippi.
We got to do better. Leland homecoming, man.
Authorities say 6 were killed after a shooting on Main Street following the town's homecoming football game Friday night.
People who were enjoying themselves last night found themselves faced with violence that no community should be faced with.
The victims ranging in age from 18 to 41. Across the state, another deadly shooting.
We have a medical call at Heidelberg High School. It's going to be multiple people shot.
This one at a high school football game in the small town of Heidelberg, where officials say 2 people died. Mississippi's governor says one of the...
Was something just in the air that night? Well, what 2 high schools across the way killed multiple people? These people need to be in jail for life. Let's keep going.
Was pregnant. Police today arresting an 18-year-old suspect.
Back up. They said, let's back that up a little bit.
Mississippi's governor says one of the victims was pregnant. Police today arresting an 18-year-old suspect. And in Rolling Fork, Mississippi, a 3rd shooting outside of a local football game there last night. Authorities there arresting 2 individuals. While back in Leland, the search for the gunman continues. City leaders asking for help.
This is not a time to keep your mouth closed. It's a time you open your mouth. You can save a lot of lives if you open your mouth and tell us what you have seen.
The mayor working to heal a community in pain and on edge.
Please pray for Leland, Mississippi. Pray for your city, and let's pray for this country.
Jay Gray joins me now from Leland. And Jay, what do we know about...
First of all, before we get over into that, if you know something, say something. I don't understand if something happens like this in your community. Why are you going? If you people will be like snitching. You can't be snitching. Come on now. I only consider it snitching if you was a part of the crime. You do the crime with the person and you tell on the people. That is snitching. You telling the police something you saw that happened in your community because you don't want it happening in your community. Why would you ever consider that snitching? That don't even make sense to me. Well, let's keep going into this video.
Investigation tonight and the other victims there.
Yeah, and Savannah, let's start with that investigation. Within the last hour, we've seen crews up and inspecting what is the town's only surveillance camera here. It was trained directly where this happened, so it could provide some necessary video for this investigation as it continues. As for the other victims, we know at least 10 others were transported from this scene to area hospitals.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking.
Absolutely crazy. Let's get over into this next video. See if we can learn any more details about everything.
This morning, 9 people are dead and dozens more hurt after 3 separate shootings in Mississippi, all of them happening during homecoming celebrations. Now the FBI is getting involved in one shooting where the search is still on for the suspects.
If you were standing next to somebody and you seen something, man, or you seen somebody who's doing that shooting, man, report that.
Social media footage capturing loved ones outside the Delta Health System's medical center the night of the Leland homecoming mass shooting.
We ask the public to recognize that they have a role in this investigation.
The FBI's Jackson Field office is leading the investigation alongside state and local law enforcement, asking for the public's help to identify these 4 people they say are connected to the shooting.
Speak up, share, give us that opportunity to get these subjects off the street.
The FBI Jackson has also established a digital media tips website to collect any video or photos from anyone that was at the intersection of 4th Street and North Main Street on Friday night.
Better picture. There was a body right here. There were 2 right here. There was one in front of here.
Like Mildred Michael.
All you saw was like people sitting down or standing around crying because they were starting to identify the different people that was laid out.
And so far, Leland's fire chief confirmed the shooting took 6 lives, with at least 6 others in critical condition.
Tragedy here in the city of Leland, our hearts hurt. We mourning, everybody mourning. You know, even for the people that's not from Leland, you know, don't nobody deserve what happened, you know.
Officials say more casualties are possible as the investigation continues, but the search remains active tonight for this woman in a white T-shirt, a man in an orange jacket, another man in an orange and white jogging suit, and a man in a black graphic tee, all seen in the area the moments gunfire let out.
We got women shooting up schools now? We got women shooting up schools now. It's a crazy world, y'all.
We're going to rise again. Our community is going to get past this. We're going to heal together like we've always done.
Well, investigators say the victims' ages range from 18 to 41. The shooting did not happen on school grounds, and as of this morning, no arrests have been made.
Absolutely crazy. Let's get over into this article from the New York Post, the most recent one I could find. So let's get over into it. So 4 people have been arrested. So they have been arrested. So 4 people have been arrested in connection with the shooting spree at Mississippi homecoming football game that killed 6 and injured more than a dozen, according to authorities. So with Travion Powell, 29, William Bryant, 29, Morgan Lamont, 25, have been charged with capital murder, and Latoya A. Powell, 44, has been charged with attempted murder for Friday's shooting. A spokesman for the FBI Jackson Field office announced Monday. So these people have been caught. All 4 of these suspects have been arrested. It sounds like people they saw something and they said something. Oh, you was out there shooting? Nah, get them out of here. Let's see. Earlier this week, the FBI announced that they were seeking public's help in locating the whereabouts of 4 individuals in connection with the shooting. On Sunday, the agency released photos of 1 female and 3 males shown in the surveillance video and identified in an FBI poster as unknown suspects. Officers' arrests are currently pending. Authorities added the shooting occurred around midnight on Main Street in Leland. Mayor John Lee previously told the Post. The 4 victims who died on the scene were identified by the coroner as Johnson. See, I'm not even going to say it. Calvin Plant, Shelbona Powell, and Kathleen Johnson, 18. So 18 to 41. Amos Bryant, 18, and Jamichael Jones, 34, later died from the injuries at the hospital. Tragic. 10 others were treated at the hospital. Their identities have not been released. Several of the victims, including recent graduates of Leland High School who returned for a popular annual reunion at the high school homecoming football game. The gunfire came out of nowhere, recalled witnesses Jennifer Buckner, who was enjoying the party with her niece and some friends. The first round was just a few quick shots that didn't completely disrupt the party. Didn't disrupt the party? What you mean didn't disrupt? But it resumed several minutes later and divulged in the case. First, come on now. This is what I'm talking about, being proactive. First shots didn't disturb the party? I would have dapped my friends up. Yeah, I'll see y'all later. It's time for me to get up out of here. It was maybe 10 minutes of consistent, perpetual, automatic rounds being let off. It went on for so long, and people just started running. FBI said that the gunfire appeared to have sparked by a disagreement among several individuals, but have not disclosed an exact motive for the bloodshed. 2 other people were killed in separate homecoming football games, shootings on the east side of the state and Federburg Friday night. See, I'm not good with names now. 2 people, including a pregnant woman, were found dead at the high school campus on the same evening of the game, according to the police and the Mississippi governor. Police have not yet confirmed when the gunfire occurred or if it was near the stadium. An 18-year-old man was arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder and allegedly having a gun on school campus in connection with the Heidelberg shooting, Jasper County jail records show. And that was that 18-year-old we saw in the picture during one of the videos, killing a pregnant woman. You know what I say about these people? They need to be in jail. I'm happy that the community came together and actually told, because it was the public's help that helped them get arrested. Nobody's just going to stand by, at least no law-abiding good citizens just going to stand by and know who done this crazy crime and just let them go by. Say it's none of my business. You doing this in my community? Nah, you got to get up out of here. You got to get up out of here. Hopefully they get long jail sentences. Hopefully I would like to hope that they could learn from their actions, but at the end of the day, let them stay in jail. They need to suffer for the crimes that they've done. They need to be punished accordingly. Absolutely crazy. In Mississippi, 3 separate shootings, y'all. 3 separate shootings all around a homecoming football game. Absolutely tragic. Like always, we got to pray for the victims, pray for the people who are injured. It's a tragic scene, but at the end of the day, keep your head on a swivel. That one game, they said that shootings happened, and then maybe a few minutes later, then the real shooting started happening. But people was like, they didn't let the party stop. Come on, what you mean they didn't let the party stop? I'm going to get up out of there. First sounds of shots, I'm gone. Oh, well, that's the end of the day for me. I'm not going to sit by and try to listen to see if it's getting closer. Nah. First signs of shooting. Yeah, this doesn't seem like it's the right place for me to be. I'm going, y'all. Dap up my friends and I'm gone. In my car driving away. Absolutely tragic situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Crazy. Absolutely crazy, y'all. We're going to pivot now. Looks like we got a sick individual who got 11 years for contaminating food with. We got some guesses of what he was contaminating the food with, but this happened a year ago when he was first arrested. So now he was just convicted and sentenced to 11 years. So we're going to get over into the old videos, and then we're going to get into him being sentenced. So let's get over into that. And then we got an article to look at as well. There are some sick, nasty people in this world. That's why you got to see. I eat at restaurants all the time. I'm not going to lie and say I don't, but you never know what sick, deranged person would do something like this and do something to your food. Let's get over into it and see what we can find out.
To get answers on a disturbing crime in Leawood, a 21-year-old cook at the Hereford House restaurant in Town Center Square is in jail charged with contaminating food. KMBC 9's Dennis Evans outside the Johnson County Prosecutor's Office in Olathe. And Dennis, they're looking for people who have gotten sick from this.
That they are, and as you said, disturbing. That's the way that the district attorney chose to describe this case. He said it's a violation of the public trust, someone who was contaminating food and put the public's health at risk. For nearly 1 month, police say a part-time employee of this Leawood restaurant was responsible for contaminated food leaving the kitchen.
The FBI got a tip that someone might be adulterating the food at a certain restaurant, contacted the Leawood Police Department.
You know who that is. It was probably another employee who saw him doing that sick thing. That was like, somebody out here doing some crazy stuff to the food. Come on here and get him.
And The two of those agencies worked in combination to quickly identify the individual, the restaurant that he was at, and then make an arrest.
Arrested was 21-year-old Jace Christian Hansen.
You know, I like to stop it sometimes so we can see these sick individuals. Let's get a good look at them. Some nasty people in this world. Let's keep going.
21-year-old Jace Christian Hansen. This recently hired cook is facing serious charges.
It's a felony offense, so it's not a little small charge.
Making matters even worse, this was not an isolated incident. It's believed Hansen intentionally put body fluids in the food at least 20 times while working at the restaurant.
I know the health department is also involved to help work with law enforcement to help diagnose the scope of the problem.
There is the possibility that hundreds were affected by the act of this one employee. Officials say the message to other food service workers, altering the safety of food consumed by the public is no prank. It's something that's taken very seriously.
If you cause serious injury or death to another individual and it's an intentional act, then you're talking about, you know, the potential of homicides and aggravated battery and stuff like that. So we haven't got to that point yet.
Now, this is an ongoing investigation, and it went on for so long that they are worried that so many people were possibly affected by this. They're asking that anyone who ate at the Hereford house between March 26th and April 23rd and left there not feeling well, please contact the Leawood Police Department. They would like to hear from you. So far, they've heard from about 40 people who were affected by this case. Reporting live in Johnson County, Dennis Evans, KMBC 9 News.
Sick individuals in this world. Let's get over into him being sentenced. 11 years.
Man convicted of contaminating food at a closed Leawood restaurant will spend 11 years in prison. A judge sentenced Jace Hansen after his conviction on 33 charges, including food tampering and sexual exploitation of a child. Hansen worked at the old Hereford house in Leawood, where police say he posted videos online showing him contaminating food. Prosecutors point out his sentence is the maximum allowed by law.
Good. Absolutely crazy. See, that was just a short video. But maximum, they got to give him the maximum, the very maximum. Let's get over into this article. It's not much I could find on it, but let's get over into it anyway, because this is a crazy story, y'all. Let me zoom in some so everybody can see it. So a former Leawood Hereford house employee was sentenced Thursday in a food contamination case. So the judge gave him, Jace Hansen, 11 years and 4 months in prison. The maximum sentence, what they said. Hansen pleaded guilty to 33 total felony charges, including criminal threat counts, all related to food contamination, 1 criminal damage to property, and 10 counts of sexual exploitation of a child. What the world? Hansen worked at the now closed Leawood Hereford house in spring last year. According to the documents, April 25th, 2024, information was received from a FBI special agent regarding possible intentional food contamination ongoing at the Hereford house, located at 5001 Town Center Drive. The tip was about a restaurant employee contaminating food by means of urinating in food or rubbing food items on his genitals and posting videos online. People do some crazy things to try to blow up. Crazy. The special agent later provided thumbnails of the videos and posted to a website from the username Vandalizer. The images depict a male urinating in food, contaminating in a restaurant-style bins, pressing food items against his private and buttocks, and using his feet to touch food items. When Hansen was crushing, he described instance of urinating in juice. Oh my God! Placing his privates on salmon and urinating in pickles. According to court documents, he estimated that there have been more than 20 instances in which he had contaminated food in a restaurant. The Leawood Hereford house location has since closed, facing dozens of. You got to close. You got to. Where's the cameras at? There's no cameras in the back pointing that. Come on now, What do you mean you can't see this man urinating in pickles and stuff like that? Customers who have said they have become ill during the time frame. Wow. Like I said, there are some nasty individuals, and I am so happy that they gave him the maximum 11 years for doing some crazy stuff. This is some wild stuff. I wonder what, because they charge him with 10 counts of sexual exploitation of a child. What was he doing with a child? My God. There's some nasty, like I said, there are nasty individuals in this world, y'all. You never know what can be happening. And I eat at restaurants all the time. You don't know what some sick person is going to be doing behind the food and everything. Oh my God. I'm happy he was caught, but honestly, he need to get beat up. That sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. 11 years, even though it's the maximum, that just sounds too light. Sounds too light for me. This man doing some wild stuff. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that whole situation. There are some sick individuals everywhere. Sick individuals everywhere, y'all. 11 years. He threw his life away trying to go viral, posting that stuff online. Some people stupid, some people nasty, and some people deserve what's coming to them. Some people truly deserve what's coming to them. Absolutely crazy. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Let me know your thoughts on that whole situation. Do you think that 11 years is too light for this kind of crime? They say that's the maximum, but should it be? Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now we're going to pivot. We got to pivot over into another story that popped up that I wasn't expecting. A woman inmate has been impregnated through the air vents. Yes, I said it. An inmate has been impregnated through the air vent. The world is getting crazier and crazier every day. And it sounds like she did it. The reason she did it, because she thought she could get early release. Some people aren't smart. Some people aren't smart. So let's get over into this video and see what we can learn about it. See what we can learn.
Daisy Link has been a lot of things in her 30 years. A wife, a mother, an accused murderer, and for a time, a scientific curiosity, a medical marvel. In 2022, Daisy shot her husband, Pedro, in the leg in a South Florida alleyway. She says she did it in self-defense after years of abuse. Too bad for her, though, and for Pedro. The bullet hit an artery, and Pedro bled out and died. Daisy was charged with his murder and promptly locked up in the county jail.
Okay, good.
Her trial began just this week, but it is what happened to Daisy Link while locked up in that county jail in the fall of 2023 that made her such a media and medical sensation, not to mention made her a mom. Daisy Link got pregnant. The thing is, she hadn't been in contact with men, and authorities found no evidence of sexual battery, guards and stuff. But DNA tests showed something that did make sense, that the father was in fact a fellow inmate. What didn't make sense is that he was separated from her by 2 floors. This is the baby daddy in question. His name is Juan DePaz. And like Daisy, he's an accused murderer. There's somebody for everybody, folks.
Yeah, somebody.
DePaz's cell was on the 6th.
Somebody for everybody. Somebody for everybody. A murderer, getting another murderer pregnant 2 floors away. You can imagine what happened going through the air vents.
Floor. Daisy's was on the 4th floor. And jails don't exactly have mixers, on Friday nights. So how on earth did these two even meet, let alone, make a baby? Corrections officials wanted to know the very same thing, so they got down to the nitty-gritty and they investigated. And now my colleague, Brian Enton, has gotten his hands on some video and some handwritten notes and phone calls that really tell the whole story. And you have to see it to believe it. The key to the mystery is an air duct. Here's the baby daddy himself sort of starting it all off.
Well, I know it for a little minute, you feel me? So we was talking, back and forth, and
How were you talking to her?
not through the vent.
Through the vent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Through the vents. Anybody would say I'm crazy, or you talking to the vent, yeah. And then we was talking, and then we got to know each other better, and then I'm like, I really want a baby because I got a murder and I might never go home, so.
What? Come on, bro. What are you talking about? You want a baby? This man wants a baby? You can't even take care of the baby. What you think Let's keep going, bro. Let's keep going.
So I'll pick it up from there. The two not only talked through the vent, but they ended up swapping notes through the vent as well. And we got copies of them. Here's one where Jawan writes, "My snuggle wuggle baby girl." I wonder what kind of credit he gets for that in prison. Well, jail right now. Another note looks like a list of baby names. And Daisy says they were able to send their notes through the air duct on a cable that they'd fashioned out of bedding material. And one day, they realized that if they could pass notes back and forth, they could pass other things, more personal things, such as Jawan DePaz's semen. Stay with me. DePaz would later tell a reporter, and I will quote him, "I put the semen in saran wrap every day, like 5 times a day, for like a month straight, and then sent it down the line to Daisy."
Oh, he just doing that 5 times a day in the jail cell with another man. Let's keep going, y'all. Let's keep going.
On the 4th floor, who, in her words, administered it with a yeast infection applicator. So yeah, creative. Before this was all common knowledge, the pair even discussed their plans on the phone. Remember, they'd never met face to face. So have a listen to that conversation.
So you think you're pregnant?
I don't know. I still haven't had my period.
You think that work?
I don't know. If probably, I'm telling you, I was supposed to have my period. I don't know.
Damn, Dave, have you been doing it for real?
I swear to God on my kids, I do it every time.
Real, for real, like deep, like in there?
Yes.
You make
deep,
sure
yes.
it's in there?
Yes, like swimwear.
Because real sperm's supposed to be in you, then shoot out like a water hose.
It was definitely in me, all the way in there. I did it every time.
Okay, I did hear the laughing. I'm going to ask about that in a minute. But if your head is spinning right now, how would you like to be Daisy Link's mom when her incarcerated daughter broke the news to her by phone? Oh, we have that too. Take a listen.
Under 24-hour lockdown because I'm pregnant.
What?
You're full of I swear to God.
You're full of This is shocking.
What do you mean? I'm going to sue. I'm going to get out. You know how much I could sue them for? This is all planned. I can get out now. If they
Who can get out?
hearing, I wouldn't have got pregnant.
You know what? You're stupid. Don't talk on this phone.
You catch that last part? Not the one where she says you're stupid. She says don't talk something on this phone. Shit.
Even the mother knows you can't be saying this on the phone.
Whether this baby was a love child or a miracle or both, mom-to-be was also hoping, it seems, that it would be her get-out-of-jail-free card. P.S. Daisy and Jawan's baby girl was born in June of last year and is now living with Jawan's mother.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation.
You can't make this stuff up. You truly can't. First of all, the guy. So you want your baby to be born without the mother? What you think was going to happen? Did you think that you or the mother was going to be in her life? Come on now. What do you think? He said, I want to have a baby because I'm up for murder and I might never get out. What you mean, man? Why are you having a kid and you can't even be there for your kid? we got to be honest. The mother is a cold heart. She's cold-hearted. You heard her on the phone. She said, "Why do you think I did this? I did this because I can get out. I can sue them. I can get out." She's cold-hearted and stupid at the same time. What you mean? You think they're gonna let you go out? Girl, you are in jail for murder. The baby you are gone. The baby, you're gonna give birth to the baby, and they're gonna take the baby and give it to another family member. Luckily, a family member could take it, or the baby would have been up for adoption. But I will never advocate for parents not being in their kids' life. But some parents don't need to be parents. Come on now. What do you expect? Hopefully the family is is smarter, can raise the baby correctly, but the family raised two murderers. It might, but hey, it might be just they went on a bad path, and it might be a good family, but we won't never know. But this is a crazy story. They figured, oh yeah, if we can pass these notes through the vents, then let me put my stuff 5 times a day for a month in the vent and pass it down to you so you can stuff it in you with a yeast infection applicator. There are some nasty individuals and some stupid individuals. Now your baby gonna grow up without a father and mother. And then they're gonna have to hear about how you were born, how she was born. I think it was the baby girl. If I'm wrong, let me know. But how she was born or conceived from 2 inmates in the jail. Wasn't even through normal procreation. He didn't even. Maybe he might have loved her. Whatever love you can get from not seeing a person. But it doesn't sound like she cared about him at all. Her whole goal was to get pregnant and to use that as a way to get out. If she would have looked up, if she would have talked to any lawyer, if she would have looked up if she would have asked anybody who was seasoned veteran in the jail, they would have known, nah, come on now. They ain't going to let you out. You're going to have birth to that baby, and then you're going to have to give it up. You might hug it a little bit, but then it's gone. You ain't going to see it. So I'm assuming she in jail for a long time. Then your baby not even going to know your face. Although she might got pictures. She going to have pictures. But do you think it would have been better if she would have been adopted by another family? It's questions to think about, things to think about. That's an absolutely crazy story, y'all. Crazy story. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. And do you think that that the baby should have been adopted by another family? Or if the family is fine, they just had a bad, because it was the man's mother who took the baby, not the mother who the woman called. She called her mama saying, yeah, I'm pregnant. They got me in a 24-hour lockdown because I'm pregnant. What you mean you pregnant? Some crazy things in this world, y'all. Crazy things. But let's go. We're gonna pivot. We got to pivot again. Over into, we got an Orange County trail attacker who said that he's been attacking women on the trails, running trail, biking trail. But he was arrested and he was in court. So we got 2 videos to look at from that. So let's see what kind of sick individual this is. And we got to be honest, y'all. Women will still go for him, even though he's going to be in jail. Women will still go for him. Let's get into it.
Tonight, this 23-year-old man is in jail accused of trying to rape and strangle a woman on a trail in Orange County. This happened in July on the Little Econ Greenway.
The woman attacked from behind near Yates Road. She was able to escape, though. West 2's Gail Pascal Brown is live outside of the sheriff's office tonight. And Gail, this was obviously a scary situation for a lot of people who run on that trail every day.
No doubt.
Working on a tip, looking at surveillance video, and talking to witnesses, the Sheriff's Department Sex Crimes Unit was able to make an arrest. He is 23-year-old Jacoby Tillman. He is charged with attempted sexual battery, battery by strangulation, and false imprisonment. Now, he was arrested today and taken to the Orange County Jail. Orange County Sheriff's investigators say Jacoby Tillman attacked a woman from behind while she was running on the Little Econ Greenway near Yates Road on July 25th of this year. Runners and walkers we spoke to say you have to be careful.
Anything can happen at any time, so it's always good to walk with a partner, walk with a friend.
What do I always say? Keep your head on the swivel, y'all. You got to keep your head on the swivel. Crazy people are everywhere. Let's keep going into this. Back it up a tad bit.
Walk with a friend.
The victim said she went for a run alone around 8 a.m. She said once she got halfway through the run and returned to her car, she noticed an unknown man behind her. Moments later, she said he grabbed her and wrapped both arms around her neck, choking her, causing her to see stars. The report says she blacked out, and when the victim woke up, she was still face down and realized that her shorts and underwear were not on anymore. Detectives also looked at some video surveillance time-stamped around 9:05 of a man described by one of the witnesses throwing the victim's clothes over this fence at this Winter Park Auto Exchange business. Here, the suspect is seen going in and outside of a building wearing a white tank top, blue shorts, and black slides.
When we walk, we don't have nothing in our ears to watch each other's back in case one goes to the restroom. You know, you always have your ears open, just in case anybody tries to sneak up behind you.
According to the arrest report, investigators spoke with Jacoby Tillman's girlfriend, who he lived with, and she asked him what really happened. He said, "I didn't rape the lady. I was trying to kill the lady." She asked him why, and he said, "Because I wanted to know what it was like to choke someone out."
Lying. This man had her shorts off. She was face down with her shorts and underwear off. He just didn't want her girl. He just didn't want his girl to. He wanted his girl to hold him down while he was in jail. So he's like, "Nah, baby, I wasn't trying to rape. I was just trying to kill her." What you mean rape? Why would I rape? I got you, baby. Why would I rape anybody? She ain't going. Hopefully she ain't going. But some women are stupid. We got to be honest. Some women are stupid. They'll still go for this. They're gonna believe a lie that he say. Let's keep going.
She said this was not a surprise to her because a few weeks earlier, she and Jacoby got into an altercation where he choked her to the point where she passed out.
And she stayed with him. And she stayed with him.
Now, the arrest report also says that the girlfriend got a text message today by mistake from Tillman's mother, telling him to get a boarding pass from Delta Airlines to catch a flight tomorrow to Texas. Tillman is in the Orange County Jail. Covering Orange County, live in Orlando, I'm Gail Pascal Brown, WESH 2 News.
Well, let's go over into this next video. It sounds like he was allowed out of jail, so sometimes I can never understand our justice system. Let's get into it.
An Orange County man accused of trying to sexually attack a woman on the Little Econ Greenway Trail is free on bond tonight.
Yeah, we told you about the attack back in July when investigators released a photo of the suspect. Jacoby Tillman was arrested last week and saw a judge. His bond was set at $8,500.
$85?
Channel 9's Valerie Boy is live from the...
You said 85, honey? Hold on. So $8,500. You got to come up with 10% of that. So he got out of jail for attempting to rape a woman for $850. That is our justice system, people. I love our justice system, but sometimes the justice system makes me want to pull my hair out.
Courthouse. And Val, you spoke with a victim of Tillman's from a different case.
That's right. The victim from the 2022 case says she's scared for herself and scared for others, knowing Tillman is back out on the streets.
It's heartbreaking.
Nori Quinn is frightened knowing Jacoby Tillman is out of jail for attacking a woman along the Little Econ Greenway over the summer. Back in 2022, Tillman was adjudicated guilty of battery for grabbing and touching Quinn as she was jogging.
If I get any inkling that you have violated the conditions of pretrial release, you will be arrested on a no bond warrant. You'll be put right back in jail.
Judge Elaine Barber told 23-year-old Tillman on Saturday that she would grant bond. This after prosecutors say he's a danger to the community as well as a flight risk.
It's very scary.
We talked to WFTV legal analyst Bill Schaefer.
He had a similar incident where he grabbed a woman from behind. He didn't choke her, but the same type of attack.
In this case, investigators say Tillman grabbed the victim from behind and choked her, causing her to black out. Once she woke up, her shorts and underwear were gone.
He had a pre-planned flight to flee the case.
In the arrest affidavit, Tillman is quoted as saying, "I didn't rape the lady, I was trying to kill the lady." He went on to say, "I want to know what it was like to choke someone out."
That should have been an...
Like I said before, he took her underwear and shorts off. What are they doing?
Of itself enough to deny bond.
Quinn wishes the court would have kept Tillman in jail.
You obviously can't prevent people from doing wrong. You can only protect yourself, implement safety.
And the judge issued the highest bond possible for the attempted sexual battery at $5,000, but then went lower at $1,500 for battery by strangulation and $3,000 for false imprisonment. He's not allowed to return to the trail or talk to the victim. Reporting live in Orange County, Valerie Boy for Channel 9.
So you mean to tell me that's the highest bond possible? So it wasn't the judges being lenient. It's the highest bond she could give legally. Something's got to change. Something has to change. $8,500. This man had a previous victim in 2022, and all you could give him is $8,500 a bond. So all he had to come up with $850. Come on now, anybody can come up. Well, not anybody, but most people can come up with $850 if their life is on the line. And then he already had a pre-booked. Come on now, do you think he's coming back? Come on now. Oh my God. I will never understand it sometimes. I truly won't. I look innocent until proven guilty, but man, sound pretty guilty to me. And then he tried to do that whole tell his girlfriend, "Oh no, baby, I wasn't trying to rape her. I was just trying to kill her. I wanted to feel what it felt like to choke somebody out." Man, you had her shorts and underwear off. Get up out of here, bro. Get up out of here. Absolutely crazy. Y'all let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know if you disagree with what I said. Do you think it's right that he only had to pay $850 to get out? Now, if I heard something wrong, but I swear they said $8,500. $8,500 is $8,500. Let me know if my math is wrong now. And then to get out, you have to pay 10% of that. $850. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Let me know your thoughts on that whole situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Don't you love our justice system sometime? Don't you love it? Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Now we're gonna pivot over into. So it looks like a man was almost mauled by his own dog. But luckily, a neighbor stepped in and basically saved his life. Saved his life. But let's get over into it and see what this whole situation is about. Some people got to be careful. Some people aren't able to handle these dogs. Don't know how to discipline the dogs. Don't know how to train them. And then you got some people who are just cruel to the animal itself. So they end up turning on them. We don't know exactly what happened in this situation, but let's get into it and see what we can find out about this whole situation.
First at 5 this evening, we are hearing from neighbors who frantically tried to help a man fatally mauled last night by his own dogs.
The Galveston County Sheriff's Office says a deputy had to shoot one of them to finally end the attack, but it was too late for the owner.
This all happened at a home in the 400 block of Louisiana Avenue in unincorporated Bay Cliff. That's where Jason Miles joins us live now with what he has learned today. Jason?
So is he gone?
Hey there, guys. Yeah, this is just a horrible story that played out both here in the street and in the victim's driveway and his carport. It's a pretty sensitive incident, so we're trying to focus on that right now. But I can tell you, beyond that trailer and up the driveway, there is still a lot of blood here on the scene. In a community where Halloween decorations are on display, neighbors say a real-life horror played out at this home early Sunday evening.
It's just a traumatic experience for sure. I've never seen anything like that before.
Jesus Escantita tells us he actually broke this machete while trying to save his neighbor, 45-year-old Jose Eddie Castillo, from a pair of Castillo's own pit bulldogs.
You see there's blood everywhere.
He and others say the attack started when Castillo tried to keep his dogs from going after passersby in a golf cart seen in this surveillance image. Another image shows Escantita running back with a second knife after getting one of the dogs to let go of Castillo.
He was crying, bleeding. He was pleading and crying, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, Eddie, and I'm stabbing the dog like this, poking him, slicing him, poking him, slicing him. That dog was not letting go.
And you could hear like somebody screaming for help.
Escantita's sister Cheyenne called 911 during all the chaos.
My brother had stabbed it several times with the machete and then with the butcher knife, and it wouldn't stop.
It did not stop until the Galveston County Sheriff's Office says a responding deputy shot the dog still latched onto its owner's arm. But Castillo was pronounced dead at the hospital in Clear Lake.
Yo, he died? Let me, oh God, let me, I gotta change it. I gotta change it. That fixes it. Man mauled. Let me put on, that ain't even everything. Mauled. Mauled to death by his own dog. 2 dogs. Let's back it up a tad bit.
Dog still latched onto its owner's arm, but Castillo was pronounced dead at the hospital in Clear Lake, while both dogs were later euthanized.
Got to put him down.
Authorities showed backup to the house within the last few hours, possibly to try and locate a third dog.
The dogs grew up with him, you know what I mean? They have always been fed good, and I don't know why something like this would have happened.
And back here live, authorities say the best advice when it comes to aggressive or potentially dangerous dogs, call animal control or any local law enforcement where you live. In this case, the Galveston County Sheriff's Office says it has responded to reports of aggressive dogs in this area. Reporting live from Bay Cliff, Jason Miles, KHOU 11 News.
Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Let me get over into, let's see, I think this is this one. Let's get over into let's get over into an article where we can actually get some more details about this whole situation. It's absolutely crazy. Let's see what it's talking about. So a man attacked and killed by his own dog in Bay Cliff. So a man is dead after officials said his 2 dogs attacked him on Sunday. The Galveston County Sheriff Office said deputies ended up having to shoot one of the dogs to get it to stop biting 45-year-old Jesus Castillo. Law enforcement said the incident happened on the 400 block of Louisiana Avenue in Bay Cliff. Castillo's neighbor, Jesus, all these, they're all named Jesus. I'm not even gonna try. Described hearing his cries for help. I heard him screaming, pleading, crying. I can still hear his voice. He ran over outside to find him getting attacked by both of his pit bulls. The dogs got him by the arm, and he was crying for help, pleading for help. He jumped into action, getting a butcher knife to try to fight off one dog. One swing and boom. Escanta said he hit him across the face, and he stopped completely. I tried doing the same with the other dog. When that didn't work, he said he ran back to get a knife, and he started stabbing the second dog. He said it wouldn't let go. I don't know what the dogs had against him, but they wanted him dead. I don't know if but the neighbor said that he looked like they was feeding him good, but you won't know unless you're in that household. Was he treating the dogs good? Now, we talked about it before. It's always pit bulls. It's always pit bulls. And I always see that we get the news on, I don't know if they just get a bad rap or if it's always just the owner, or is they can just snap. That's why a lot of communities don't allow pit bulls in their neighborhood. Maybe just because of the fear factor of it. But do you think it's more of a nurture thing, or is it just a nature thing? Absolutely crazy. Let's see what he said. He said it still wouldn't let go. I saw the cops. I ran back over and waved the cop down. GCSO said when deputies arrived, one dog was still latching onto the arm. They said they shot the dog, which caused it to let go. Investigators said that Castillo was taken to a nearby hospital where he later died. That's somebody we see every day. That's what the neighbor who helped him said. You don't expect this to happen. Somebody real close to you. Ultimately, he said that he was surprised by the attack because he believed that his neighbor took care of the dogs. Yeah, like it's just from a neighbor looking in. We don't know what he was actually doing on the inside of the house. Was he mistreating the dogs? Did he not properly train them? I don't know. Now he's trying to wrap his head around losing someone he'd known for 6 years. It was just a horrible experience. I didn't think that it was going to be the last time I talked to him. The sheriff's office said the 2 dogs were euthanized by animal control. So they couldn't even kill them. He stabbed the dog. The neighbor stabbed the dog multiple times. The police shot him. Some strong dogs. They got muscle. Strong. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Let me know your thoughts, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. Do you think, like I said, do you think that do you think it's just the owners? Or do you think it's something to do with the breed? It's a crazy world, y'all. It's a crazy world. Absolutely wild. I wasn't expecting to hear that. Man had to take 2 knives. One broke. Still kept stabbing him. And the officer shot him and the dog still didn't die. Still latched on. The dog finally released after he was shot by the police. But him stabbing it did nothing. Nothing. The dog said he just ignored it. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. How do you feel? Do you think pit bulls get a bad rap, or do they deservedly have the reputation that they have? Or is that why most communities don't allow pit bulls, because they are known as an aggressive breed? Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. We're gonna pivot over to something a little harder, a little more sad, lot sad. Looks like a mother, aunt, and boyfriend have been charged over the death of the body of a 12-year-old girl being found. It's a cold world out here. It's a cold world. Very sad. Let's get over into this video. We got 2 videos to look at. Let's see what it's all about. Let's see what it's all about. That is what they look like, the mother and the aunt. Absolutely crazy. Let's get into it.
The search is on right now, for a third suspect in the death of a 12-year-old girl in New Britain. We have now learned the mother and aunt of the little girl are under arrest.
News 8 investigative reporter Jeff Dederin is live now in New Britain with what he's been able to learn today. Jeff?
Hey there, guys. Yeah, one investigator telling me he's got 35 years on the job as a police chief. He says this is one of the worst cases he's ever dealt with. He said emotionally very tough. Meantime, detectives say little Jacqueline Torres was physically abused and left behind in a plastic storage bin.
This case is a deeply heartbreaking and disturbing case. Our detectives, with our local and state partners, have worked tirelessly to uncover the truth and to bring justice for Jacqueline.
Seasoned investigators say this one is tough to take. 12-year-old Jacqueline Torres, her remains found inside a storage bin and left behind at this vacant house in New Britain. Detectives say she was physically abused and starved for a long, long time.
I don't care who is involved. Send them straight to jail. They need to be under the jail. A 12-year-old girl? Starved, beaten, and left for dead? by her mother, aunt, and the boyfriend. They haven't mentioned the boyfriend yet, but that's to be in the next video. Some sick people in this world. I mean, like I've said this before, anytime you're dealing with kids, somebody doing some horrible things to kids, life in prison, and after they die, leave their ashes in the jail too. Let's keep going.
The facts that you have, that she probably died a long time ago and was stowed away, is probably enough to show you what we are dealing with here.
Under arrest, Carla Garcia, mother of Jacqueline, and her aunt, Jacqueline Garcia, facing charges too. The little girl's mom charged with murder, the aunt, cruelty. The search goes on for Jonathan Nanita, boyfriend of Carla Garcia, wanted for murder. Detectives say young Jacqueline died back in the fall of 2024 while her family lived in Farmington.
Following her death, Jacqueline's body was kept in the family's basement and subsequently moved when the family relocated from Farmington in March of 2025.
Police say DCF was aware of the family, but can't say anymore right now. There are other kids involved, but they're safe. No one hurt, we're told. Did anyone ever notice Jacqueline missing from school?
I'm going to be very careful with where we go with that. That's a part of a large part of the investigation. There's been some information that's come forward between being removed from one school and entering another to being homeschooled.
From here, the court system will take it and prosecute to the highest extent of the law. I'd like to again send our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Jacqueline Torres.
Someone had to notice. Come on now, family member, another family member, the school. Well, they said they went from one school to another, maybe homeschool. It's a tragic situation, y'all.
All right, little Jacqueline's mother and aunt due in court tomorrow. The mother's being held on $5 million bond tonight.
Good.
The aunt being held on $1 million bond. Police say they have a verbal cause of death from the medical examiner's office, but they're not going to share that just yet. We may learn that tomorrow. One more thing, quick, before we go. If you have any information about this case, especially that guy, the boyfriend who they're looking for, Nanita, give police a call. We're live in New Britain tonight. Jeff.
Absolutely crazy. Let's get over into this next video where they talk about the boyfriend being captured.
We begin with breaking news. A third person has now been arrested in the death of a 12-year-old girl.
The remains of Jacqueline Torres were found inside a storage bin and then left in a vacant house in New Britain. Now, right now, her mother, Carla Garcia, is charged with murder. Her aunt, Jacqueline Garcia, is facing cruelty charges. And just in the past hour, that breaking news we've been telling you about, Carla Garcia's boyfriend, Jonathan Nanita, was taken into custody, finally arrested. Investigators say a little girl died last year while her family lived in Farmington. Her body was kept in the family's basement and then moved to New Britain. Police say DCF was aware of the family, but they can't say more. There are other kids involved, but we are told they are safe.
Well, as you can imagine, this case is not only taking a toll on the family, but communities in both Farmington and New Britain.
This is Bob Wilson spoke to the little girl's neighbors. He joins us now live from New Britain with how she's being remembered. It has details on that breaking news of that third arrest. Bob?
That's right. The third arrestee was walked right out here. Jonathan Nanita's put into a state police cruiser, transferred into state police, and taken off. We're supposing he'll be arraigned tomorrow. We'll have to confirm that. But right now, everybody glad he's in custody. The third person that gives everybody involved in this, as we know, is under arrest and in police custody. However, it has been a long day. As police were over in Farmington, the neighborhood over there, as she was allegedly killed there in that basement, held there for over maybe 6 months, and then transferred out. Tonight, everyone from the mayor to the police chief reacting.
As a mother, this makes me sick to my stomach.
35 years, this is probably one of the worst cases.
It's really heart-wrenching, and what a story. I mean, you know, this is a very safe area, quiet area here. You just don't even think that you're going to hear something like that 2 doors down.
Police identified the decomposed 12-year-old found in a storage container in New Britain as Jacqueline Mimi Torres Garcia. Police searched a home in Farmington where they say she suffered prolonged physical abuse and malnourishment before she was allegedly killed by her mother, 29-year-old Carla Garcia, and her boyfriend, Jonathan Nanita. Police believe the 12-year-old was killed a year ago, stored in the basement until March when they moved to New Britain.
Today it was full blown. They had, 5, 6 cars here. Farmington police were here, and then I saw the dog. I happened to be right outside when they brought the dog in. Who's ever living there or whatever, there were people outside, and they were told not to go back into the place.
A memorial continues to grow where her body was found in New Britain, but we are not going to identify the neighborhood where police say she was murdered out of respect for the neighbors who are visibly shaken by this crime.
It was a happy kid here, she used to get walked home by one of the other young boys that was here, very, out into, out and about with the kids and everything. She was a really nice little skinny girl, but she used to take the garbage out for the parents all the time, but they were really kind of quiet. They had another smaller child and I think a bigger child.
As far as this investigation is concerned, there's no other reports involving any of the other children that are involved.
And police tonight asking any witnesses in Farmington or New Britain who know anything about this case to please come forward. They would like to hear from you. They believe there are people out there. They say it's okay. You can come forward and talk to them. I'm Bob Wilson reporting live in New Britain News.
Now let's get over into this video I just found. So it seems like the grandparents of the 12-year-old girl are processing the law. So let's get over into it.
She was my love. She was everything for me.
The grandfather of a 12-year-old girl shares his memories of her as police charge 3 people in her death.
Hold on.
Thanks for joining us tonight for the news at 11. I'm Keisha Grant. Tonight, police say the mother of that little girl, the mother's boyfriend, and the girl's aunt all played a role in her death. They're all behind bars tonight. About an hour ago, police announced the boyfriend was taken into custody. Investigators say while the remains of 12-year-old Jacqueline Torres Garcia were found last week, she likely died last fall. NBC Connecticut's Jeremy Chen has been following the new developments in this case and joins us now live in New Britain with the very latest. Jeremy.
Yeah, Keisha, within the last hour, we have learned that the mother's boyfriend, Jonathan Nania, has been actually arrested by New Britain police. We are told this just, again, within the last hour. Details still remain unclear as to the circumstances of the arrest, but he has been arrested after being at large for much of the day. And this also comes as this case cuts deep for 2 communities, and police are still trying to work hard and figure out why this young girl was killed.
She was my love. She was everything for me.
It's been a hard few days for Felix Osorio, standing over a large memorial for his 12-year-old granddaughter, Jacqueline Torres Garcia in New Britain, who family members called Mimi. Candles, balloons, and flowers lined the front of a Clark Street property where police say the girl's decomposing remains were found inside a plastic bin last week.
She was happy all the time. Real
I wonder
happy.
which
She
side
liked to
Grandpa
play.
New Britain and Farmington police say
Probably
the
the
girl's
father.
mother, Carla Garcia, and her aunt, Jacqueline Garcia, were arrested Sunday. Officers found and arrested the mother's boyfriend, Jonathan Nanita, the next day.
And I can say that now our goal has always been to seek justice for Jacqueline Torres.
Police say Jacqueline lived with her family in Farmington and believe she died there in the fall of last year, with the remains taken to New Britain. Investigators say they believe she was physically abused and malnourished. The mother and boyfriend are facing murder charges, and the aunt is facing a child cruelty charge. Farmington police saying it's one of the worst cases they've ever seen.
Takes a toll mentally, physically, and it's very difficult for us to contemplate how this can happen in a civilized society like ours.
Osorio says he hasn't physically seen his granddaughter in 2 years, and that the mother would always make excuses to his son, the father, about why his granddaughter couldn't FaceTime him.
He was thinking all the time that Mimi just
Hold on. So let's back that up. What do you?
In a civilized society like ours.
Osorio says he hasn't physically seen his granddaughter in 2 years, and that the mother would always make excuses to his son, the father, about why his granddaughter couldn't FaceTime him.
He was thinking all the time that Mimi just don't want to see him, and he don't want to to push
He's the
her.
grandfather. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Only God is helping me. God is helping me to pass this process. I've been with her forever, and I'm always going to be here.
He says the focus now turns to justice, seeing the strength of community support at the memorial. And the State Department of Children and Family says it is reviewing its involvement with the girl's family, and also says Jacqueline's siblings are safe and are in police custody. Now,
Good.
the mother and the aunt are expected in court tomorrow morning. It's unclear whether the boyfriend will be joining them in court as well. Keisha?
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. What I said before. Straight to jail. Straight to jail, under the jail. You mean to tell, oh my God. She kept making excuses to the father. So you gotta go see your kids. Got to. Mother kept saying, no, she just don't want to see you. Well, let me talk to her. She don't want to talk to you. I'm gonna pull up something. I want to lay eyes on my kid. I mean, there's no need to know why, but I would like to know. Why would you kill your own daughter? Did the boyfriend not like her and just put it in your head that we would be better without her? But she had other kids. Were the other kids by the same father? That's my question. Was the other kids by the same father? Or were the other kids the child of the boyfriend? Yeah, that would make some sense. It's a horrible situation. And it's probably can never get any reason out of it. And it doesn't really matter the reason. Because at the end of the day, they need to be in jail for life. For life. Absolute crazy situation. I will keep up to date and see on how much they get charged, but if it's anything, it doesn't need to be anything light. No, nothing at all. They want to seek the maximum, and it's understandable. Life. The aunt's just torturing her? What is wrong with people? Let me know your thoughts, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. How much time do you think they should get? The tragic situation. We gotta review the world together, y'all. We have to review the world together. Let's pivot over into the last thing we're gonna talk about today, the very last thing. So, simple question: when does it go too far? When does it go too far? We're getting a couple of things about Halloween decorations. So we talked about this before. Halloween decorations involving ICE getting executed. You got Halloween decorations with political figures in body bags. It's a lot of. And you got the simple Halloween decorations where it just looks like a house is on fire. But at what point is it too far? At what point is your freedom to decorate and have these kind of stuff on your house go too far? Let's get over into it. We got 2 videos to look at, but that's the main thing. When does it go too far, y'all? When does it go too far? Let's get into it. We got 2 videos. Let's jump into it.
In South Carolina, this frightening scene appears all too real. Flames tearing through both stories of this suburban house outside Greenville. But the message from the home's owners, please stop calling 911.
It's all lighting. Each window has its own little setup.
It's just the latest over-the-top Halloween decoration from Sam Lee and his fiancée Amanda Pedden. All smoke and lighting. The display, they say, is a hit with most neighbors.
We do have a 1% that, don't like it, and that's understandable. They're entitled to their opinion, but we do it for the community.
If this is too far, what's not too far? What's the line? And who's to say what that is?
The couple gave the fire department a heads up about their elaborate display, but that hasn't stopped the calls from coming in.
Does this in any way take away from resources in a smaller fire department?
No. Granted, we're lucky we're a block and a half from where the house is at our main station. So regardless, if somebody calls, we're going to go.
But authorities are cracking down on other displays. In Stanton, Kentucky, a 58-year-old man was arrested and faces charges for these fake body bags depicting local politicians in his front yard. And in Alabama, controversy over this display from the wife of Mobile County Sheriff.
This is a very sad situation.
Skeletons dressed in serapes and sombreros being chased over a fence by other skeletons dressed as ICE agents. The sheriff's wife, Michelle Alfonso Birch, calling the display tongue-in-cheek, as this year even Halloween displays are fueling the flames of the country's political divide. George Solis, NBC News.
We thank you for watching.
Absolute crazy, but let's get over into this other one where it's showing that the execution of ICE officers.
A man from Houston's 2nd Ward says he's taking a stand against immigration enforcement with a Halloween display that's causing quite the stir. The display showing 2 figures, as you can see here, with nooses around their neck and zip ties next to a Mexican flag, and a 3rd figure wearing a serape. We spoke to that man about why he decided to put it up and the reaction he's getting from neighbors. This is the display in question.
I've had good and bad controversy on it. Some people talk real good about it. Some people talk real bad. But the way I tell them, by no means am I threatening nobody.
Mark Rodriguez lives on Delmar Street in the 2nd Ward. His Halloween decorations are how he's choosing to take a stand on immigration enforcement across the country. When we asked what exactly it meant or who the figures were, he simply said,
"This is, my little political statement. Our community lives in fear right now. The schools."
He said that's his political statement. So does your political statement mean that ICE should be executed? That's where I'm getting. That's what's throwing me off. Does it mean ICE should be executed?
People are dropping the enrollment in the schools. The restaurants are low. The community, everybody's scared right now. I like practicing our First Amendment rights. By no means am I threatening nobody. This isn't a threat towards no agency or no officers.
Rodriguez tells us he's not afraid to shake things up to make sure his message hits home.
This ain't the first time I've done it. I've done Halloween decorations for 20 years. I'm not directing no hate to nobody. It was just something I decided to do for Halloween. And right when Halloween's over, I'll take it down.
We checked in with HPD and they told us no one has complained. And even if they did, Rodriguez is not violating any laws. 9 years ago, our Keith Garvin also reported on Mark Rodriguez, who created a Halloween display showing then presidential candidate Donald Trump hanging from a noose. Rodriguez says that year he decided to mix his dislike for Trump into Halloween decorations.
Okay, that's a question, y'all. When does it go too far? Or is it too far in general? It's my main thing is when your Halloween displays are promoting violence against a certain group or a certain person. Like say they have a Halloween display with some black people hanging from nooses. Or say you have, like he had a Halloween display of Trump being hung by a noose. Is there a difference? It's his freedom of speech. But does it go too far? Because when he starts, was it promoting or advocating? He might not be advocating, but he's promoting a violence against them. That's my thinking. He's showing a violent scene of someone being executed. And one thing, he had ICE the years before he had President Donald Trump. Is it not wrong to promote violence in this kind of way? Now, he might not see it as him promoting violence, but would other people think he is? I just don't think, I think it goes too far when you, like I said, when you promote violence against a certain group of people, any people. Now, if you have the first video we looked at where they just have, it looks like their house is on fire, that's an innocent type of thing. Like you see people, they have Halloween displays where someone's falling off the roof. Have Halloween displays of like it with like a little boy. That's someone in my neighborhood, a little boy just hanging, looking at the the manhole or the sewer, the water line. Not a water line, you know what I'm trying to say. But in the manhole, looking into it. There are some things that, yes, I can see go with the Halloween theme. Some things that like, all right, I can understand it. But when you start getting into where you're showing a violent scene of, he's saying he's taking a political stance. That's my main thing. He's taking a political stance. So he's promoting, his thoughts are that ICE should be hanged. At least that's my thinking. Now tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm thinking too much into it. Thinking maybe it's just innocent. But would people not think that way? Yeah, those are just some food for the thought. Some thoughts for what you know what I'm trying to say. When does it go too far? Let me know your thoughts on that whole situation. Do you think he went too far with it? Or is it just the innocent freedom of his speech? Freedom of speech. The police said he's not breaking any laws. Yes, he's not breaking any laws, of course. He has the right to promote, or he has the right to show, have any kind of Halloween decorations he wants, I would think. Well, maybe when you get too egregious with it, like showing a certain crime. But well, see, what crime is too bad? Because the crime of officers being hung is a crime. But say if he had black people hanging, say if he showed like a child pedo trying to talk to a little girl, like, come on, when does it go too far? Let me know your thoughts on that situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts. I just saw it and I just wanted to bring it up. That's the main thing that came to my mind. When does it go too far? Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. But that is it for the show today. Thank you for watching now. Thank you for watching later. It's a wild world we live in, but we got to keep reviewing the world together, y'all. We got to keep reviewing the world together. Remember, this is AC Reviews the World, and I am your host, AC the Engineer. And this was episode 54. Episode 54. Remember, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can be up to date on any of the videos that I drop. And if you disagree with anything I said in any of this whole show, please let me know. Let's talk about it in the comments. Let's talk about it in the comments. You already know these videos will be broken down. And if you ever see anything that you want me to review, please send it over to my email. It's acreviewstheworld@gmail.com. A dot after the A and a dot after the C. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. We're a little under 2 hours, but hey, that's a good show. You know, I gotta be at work at 8, so hey, that's all for now. But you already know, gotta play that outro. But peace.